this is the last topic for the day. And as budding ophthalmologists, as PGs, a small fear will be nagging in your mind whether after having done everything, you will be dragged to a court of law or whether there will be litigation against you. But in this last session, if you have attended closely, if you had taken a proper history, if you had looked for the signs and symptoms in a systematic way, and if you have properly written a case sheet, and if you have proper consent, then definitely, even if you are dragged into a court of law, then the court won't find you guilty. So
Jane,
going
put it in
into
full screen. Jane,
full screen.
put it in full screen.
Not full screen yet.
No. Below.
Go to the slideshow.
Slideshow.
Is it okay now?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Okay. So the thing is, all you have to do is you have to exhibit reasonable care and caution and attention to the patient when the patient is under your care. You don't have to be an expert in a field, and you don't have to be the latest surgery or the latest technique you need not have applied to the latest technique also. You should have an ordinary skill of an ordinary practitioner. That's all you have to do. So if you have done all this, then definitely you don't have the court can't find negligent. And so what is negligence? Negligence is a breach of duty caused by omission to do something which a reasonable man will do, or doing something which a prudent and reasonable man would not do. That's all the basis of negligence. But still, even after having done everything, even after having a perfect surgery, you might have complications. I always say even eminent surgeons get complications. The only surgeons that don't get complications are outstanding surgeons they are standing outside the theater. If you are inside the theater and operating, then definitely you will have complications. But even if you have complication per se is not negligence. So if you have a proper consent, as explained by Andreas sir and also by Mallika, if you have explained in detail all the complications accepted in the consent, and definitely you won't be found negligent. And ensure that you are equipped, that you are skilled in surgery, what you are attempting, and also you have and ensure that you are equipped to handle all the complications that may arise in the surgery. And you should be able to properly manage your complications. But don't worry, even if you are not able to manage your complication, if you have properly referred the patient to as higher center at an appropriate time, then also you won't be found negligent. So how do you prevent litigation? Prevention of litigation, as I said before, is basic is prevention at personal level. Personal level is you should have a true and MCA approved qualification. That's what you are having now, that you are going through the course now. And after your qualification, you should have the specific training and experience from recognized center to undertake the surgery that you are attempting. And also the communication, that is the key to doctor-patient relationship. You should take the patient and the bystanders into confidence. And if if you have proper communication skill, then definitely you won't have any litigation against you. And your interpersonal behavior is also very important. The how you behave with your colleagues, how you behave with your seniors, and how you behave with the patient bystanders also is very important. And academic and technical upgradation is very important, because as you know, ophthalmology is a very rapidly advancing field. So you should be up to date on what is the latest in surgery. And you should have the basic knowledge of medical ethics and also the laws of the land. That you are not aware of the law is not a protection against negligence. And then the second is prevention and practice level. That is, as I said before, you should have reasonable skill and care to the patient. Not only you should have exhibited the reasonable skill and care to the patient, you should be able to prove to the bystanders that you have given reasonable skill and care to the patient when the patient was under your care. And also legally, you should be able to prove that you have given reasonable skill and care. That is by proper documentation. As Mallika said, you should always bear in mind that you may be called to a court after 5 years to explain what you had written almost 5 years back and forgotten. and why you took that line of management, or why you manage that patient at that time. So you should always, whenever you're writing anything case sheet, you should always keep in mind that you will be asked to explain what you have written almost 5 years after 5 years. So documentation is very, very important. And keep united and don't have any differing voices, because whenever any litigation against any doctor comes up, you can always find that there must be some instigating factor, side comment made by some other practitioner. So you should always keep in mind, you should always be united and don't have differing voices, because we cannot judge what other doctor had done in a different setting. So always, all the doctors basically have the best interest of the patient at mind. So don't judge others what they have done in another setting. And don't try not to disclose any scientific information to any untrained or unqualified persons, including to ethical and scientific practice. That is the best defense. And always update knowledge. And definitely the third way by which you can prevent or overcome any litigation is by professional indemnity. And the best professional indemnity scheme is given by the Indian Medical Association, and it's called professional protection. That can help arrange for the legal help from advocates. And also, if you and the court, they can fight for you up to the Supreme Court. As you know, there is a district forum, then there is a state forum, and then there is a national forum, and then there is the Supreme Court. So for us, I was the previous professional protection scheme secretary for the last 3 years, and we have a very aggressive advocate for us, fighting for us in the national forum and the Supreme Court. And for one sitting, we are giving him a subsidized rate of 1 lakh per sitting. So that is the kind of advocates we have for a professional protection scheme. So the best professional indemnity scheme is professional protection scheme of Indian Medical Association. And the best thing is that the defense is being made by the professional protection scheme office itself, not by any legal advocates. So you have a very medical document to be fought in the court. And you should always have friends in the right places. You should have good friendship with your PGs. You should be in friendly terms with the others in the specialty. So the best way to have a mingling is by joining Indian Medical Association, and also by joining the District Ophthalmic Clubs, and also the Kerala Society of Ophthalmic Surgeons. So as you know, if there is a case against the 2 times you will have to appear in a court is when the other advocate cross-examines you in the court, and also the second time you will be called to the court will be when an expert witness is called to justify whatever you have done. So you should have right friends in the seniors to be called as expert witnesses. So with these few words, I can assure you that even if you are properly following ethical practice, and if you are maintaining good records, then definitely there won't be any litigations against you. And even if there is any litigation, you will be properly protected. So to conclude, you should have high standards in day-to-day practice with continuous training and clear communication, along with appropriate documentation of any procedure carried out, will definitely improve the professional safety of practicing eye specialists in the event of medical litigation. Thank you, madam. Thank you.